for this week's Preppin data, we're taking inspiration from Jonathan Allenby's really cool viz where you can work out if that Pret deal is actually worth you purchasing. So we can see that even if I'm visiting Pret 1 day a week and I'm ordering a latte and a chocolate frappe in that day, then the deal would still save me £6. So that's quite interesting. But let's have a look at our data set that we're working with this week. So we've got our orders from our Preppin data team. You can see that they are by the different days of the week. So what we want to do is we first want to reshape this so that we've got all of the days of the week in one column so that the orders are all in one column. So we use a pivot for that. And we use a wildcard pivot searching on day because obviously all the days of the week will contain the word day, which makes it nice and easy. But we don't actually care what day of the week we're ordering these drinks on. So we kind of just get rid of this column. We get rid of any of the nulls because they're not useful to us. And then we can see that the orders are actually separated by a comma. So we're going to want to do some splitting on that. So as I said, we kind of get rid of that field that's telling us the names of the days of the week. We get rid of the null values in our order field, and we just do some renaming. One thing to note here before we do our split is that we can see here we've got some values such as flat white with an extra shot, and our extra shot has a different cost associated with it, so we'd rather that also got split into its own row. So what we'll do there is we will use a replace function to say replace the order from the order the word with a comma, so that then that'll get split out itself into its own value. So if we do that, then we see that this changes to sort of where it had flat white with extra shot is now flat white comma extra shot. And then we do our splitting on our commas for all values, and that gives us lots of different columns. If we kind of look there you go, you get 9 different fields split out from that. So we're going to want to pivot that again so it's all in one field, using the wildcard pivot to find the word split and split that down. We're going to want to again get rid of this column, get rid of this, filter out the empty spaces, and we also don't need the order now with the commas in it because that's not useful to us. So we do a bit of sorting out, a bit of reorganizing. So now we have one person and every single thing that they would order. But that's nearly what we want. We just actually want to have a count of how many times they order that as well. So we use an aggregation step. We group by our person and by our order, and we count the number of rows. So now we just have frequency, order, and person, which is wonderful. Now we move on to sort of sorting out our price list. So our price list is looking like this. It's a bit weird. We have sort of the different categories that it can be, like the organic coffee or the iced coffee. So we have all of those values and their prices, and then next to it we have a different category and their prices. So that's a weird data structure that we want to restructure. Basically, we want a line for each drink that you can order and their price. So we're going to do multiple pivots in one pivot now. This is actually the first time I discovered this week, so I'm discovering new things in Tableau Prep all the time, and it's really interesting to me actually that I'd missed this for so long. So first of all, we use the wildcard pivot to search for the price, because those fields all kind of have the same structure because they have the word price in them. So we pivot that first. And then have you ever noticed this little plus sign? I had never noticed that before, but you can add on another column to pivot. So then we just literally have to drag everything that's remaining, so all the different category titles over into this pivot to values, and then we get basically our category in the middle here, but with the word price added onto it. Oh well. We get all of the different drinks that we could order, and then we have all their prices. Again, we need to do some filtering out of nulls, but that's not an issue. And we just need to sort of do a little bit of cleanup to get rid of the word price in the category. But then we're ready to start trying to join up these two data sets together to get our price information for each of the drinks we're ordering. So if we do that, then we join on the order to the drink, and we can see that we've got some things that are dropping out of our orders, which is a shame. We've got 5 fields, so it's all the ones that are either have the word smoothie or tea in them. So that's frustrating, but we'll sort those out separately. So we sort of make that join again, but have it be a left-only join so that we get those excluded rows coming through now. And we kind of decide that the way that we're going to deal with this is we're going to say whether they're a tea or a smoothie, and we will edit our sort of price list data to give us this information as well, get that to tell if it's a tea or a smoothie. Now this comes through actually as smoothies, what we're doing here. So for me, the way that I chose to do it was from the category we split, and we just take anything after the last space. So that's how we get this field here. But then you get, like I say, smoothies rather than smoothie. So you get the plural rather than the singular. So for that to join on, then we just use this calculation here. So we're saying if the last character, the far right character, is an S, then we just want to shorten that by 1. So we do the left of category split 1. And how many values do we want to take? We want to take basically the length of category split 1, so as it currently is, but then -1. So we take everything excluding that last letter. Otherwise, just leave it as it is. And then we can join those together on the order split 1 and the category split 1. So that gives us either smoothie or tea. And we see that we have 17 rows there. So obviously we went from having 5 here to having 17. And the reasoning for that is obviously because it's joined on every possible smoothie or every possible tea that it could be. So we just need to do some filtering there to make sure that gets to the right scenario. So the way that we're doing our filter here is we're saying that if our order contains the drink, then keep it. Because our Berry Blast smoothie will naturally match with Berry Blast, and then where we've got mango and raspberry fruit smoothie, that'll match with mango and raspberry. It's just kind of the easiest way to kind of catch everything, I think, in this instance. So now we've got everything sort of with its price associated to it, so we can union these 2 steps here, and we don't need to take the table names forward, so we just remove that field. Now we can work out our spend. So we do our frequency times by our price, and then so that's our weekly spend, the frequency times by the price, and then we multiply that by 4 to get our monthly spend. I know that's not, the best way, but it's just for an estimate. So now we can sum that all together because we've got sort of the weekly cost at the monthly cost for each of our items, but now we don't care about the individual items, we want to aggregate it up to be per person. So we group on our person, we sum our spend and rename it to be our monthly spend. And then we simply need to work out a couple more fields. So our potential savings is naturally our monthly spend minus 20. And then we want to know, is it worthwhile? So we literally just say, are our potential savings above 0? And if they are, then it's worthwhile. So we get a true there. So we can see that it's worthwhile for everyone but Tom, who would be better off just buying his drinks normally, whereas for everyone else, they could save a lot. So thank you for listening to this solution. I hope it was useful. I hope you found it fun too, because I think this is quite a fun challenge. Thanks again.